Greetings, fellow Vikings. Skål!
Skål, 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 skål.
Huzzah! Hello there, how you doing? My name's Adam. Welcome to A Duda Reviews, an entertainment channel for entertainment purposes. Today I'm going to be talking about a brand new film by the director Robert Eggers, and the film is entitled The Northman. Now, The Northman stars Alexander Skarsgård as Prince Amleth, Anya Taylor-Joy as Olga, Nicole Kidman as Queen Gudrun, and Ethan Hawke as King Orvandil. I think I said that right. Now, the plot to this film is pretty basic, to be fair. It's actually based on a 13th century Danish tale that would go on to inspire William Shakespeare's Hamlet. Basically, there's a young prince. The uncle of that young prince, he killed his father, the king, and the young prince wants revenge. So that's pretty much the plot.
Long live the king.
But it's the following of young Prince Amleth until he becomes a man as Alexander Skarsgård, that becomes this behemoth man, and he's in this band of berserkers, and we follow him in this band of berserkers.
My love for you is like a truck berserker.
Going around just like axing people. There's like guts and shit coming out. There's a lot of blood. It's quite gory, this film. There's a lot of action involved. There's some mysticism involved as well, with some of the sort of as Willem Dafoe as some kind of weird jester slash wizard guy. It's really weird. But visually, this is an amazing film. It was just like looking at it, it was like, wow, this is like fantastic. Mainly because of the set backdrop that they were using. I think some of it was filmed in Ireland to portray Iceland. And some of the scenic views and everything looked amazingly. It's just so sort of like stark, and some of it was quite bleak, but some of it was actually really beautiful. So yeah, the backdrop looked amazing. The acting was stellar in this film. Alexander Skarsgård plays Prince Amleth, and he is just like hulking in this. He's like so huge, and he's just going around with axes and shit, chopping people's heads off and things like that. Blood spurting everywhere. It was really like the most heavy metal film I've seen in a long time. I think Nicole Kidman put in a stellar performance in this, as well as Prince Amleth's mother, the Queen. And she wasn't quite as she seemed. There's some weird scenes in there as well that I won't go into to spoil it. But yeah, her acting is fantastic in this also. I love Robert Eggers, the director. I think The Witch is like up there with my all-time favorite films. This film, I just think visually, this film was a lot more budget to it as well than his previous films. And this film isn't actually, this is the first one that's not produced by A24. I think I can't remember the name of the production team for this one, but it's a lot bigger budget, and you can definitely tell within the film. It just looks, the scope of it and everything like that, it's just huge. Ethan Hawke's part in this is quite short, obviously, because he dies quite early on. That's not a spoiler because it's in the trailers, but he dies fairly early on. So, but when he is in it, he's great, and he really does chew up the scenery because he's a fantastic actor. You know, when you're a kid and you're watching like a Bruce Lee film or something like that, and you come out of the film and you're just like doing karate chops everywhere and just like kicking shit, and just you think you're like Bruce Lee when you come out. I came out of this film thinking I was a fucking Viking. I came out like, oh, with an axe and shit, pretending I had an axe and things like that to my friend. I was just like, and he was like, what are you doing? I'm just like, oh, I am fucking Amleth. I kill you with my axe and shit like that. Yeah, I just went a little bit nuts basically. But it's one of those films where you just come out and you get so immersed in it, and you're so immersed into the world because it's so real. It felt so real, and it felt so sort of accurate to how you'd imagine Vikings to be. And I know Robert Eggers is pretty meticulous when he does his research for these things, so I'd imagine a lot of it is pretty accurate to how Vikings were and what the shit they used to get up to. Like the whole berserkers scene I thought was amazing, where they're all like the wolf skin on their back and they're just running around acting like feral animals and shit. But yeah, it just really immersed you. It's a really fantastic film. Can't say enough good things about it. The runtime went really quick, I thought. I'm not sure how exactly long the film was, but it didn't feel that long. The runtime felt good to me. The soundtrack was usually sort of beating drums and things like that, so you felt so fucking tribal within the whole thing. I just wanted to like rip the seat up and just start like running around like a fucking maniac in the cinema. But you know, civilized society and all that, you can't really do that. I already touched on the sort of weird mysticism of the film as well. There was even a scene with Bjork involved, where she was sort of like this weird witch woman and giving like prophecies and stuff, and that was quite cool. I did like the whole mysticism aspect to it, because in Viking lore there's a lot of that involved, and there's like the Valkyries riding off into the lightning filled sky kind of thing that was really cool as well. Apparently this film hasn't taken a lot of money so far in its initial opening, which is an actual tragedy, because it's such a good film, and I would highly recommend you go out and see it at the cinema because of the scope of this and the scale of the film. It's definitely something that would be worth watching on a big screen. So yeah, if you like action, adventure, blood, mysticism, axes in your skull, and just like absolute madness and just beer drinking, crazy Vikings running around eating hearts and shit, then I would suggest watching this film. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next video, skål!